Making a Change Group's community report every Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and CMPRadio.net's platform. Making a Change Group is dedicated to empowering youth, strengthening families, and serving as a community connector for the city of Chester and Delaware County. Thank you for tuning in.
Good morning and welcome back to our broadcast. We have some amazing things to share with you this week as far as things going on in the community. And today we'll be talking about the amazing men that empower our community. We will start by honoring the people on our team, and that'll be right after we get into this weekend's events. So, in honor of Father's Day, there's a Daddy and Me dance. I know we talked about it, but just a reminder, at Chester City Hall in the community room, Friday, June 17th from 6 to 9 p.m. They're calling all fathers to help make this weekend extra special. Bring your little ones, not just Daddy and Me. Bring your sons, bring your daughters, nieces, nephews, neighbors, and let's really celebrate and love on our youth as we show appreciation to the men in our lives. And in celebration of the late Stephen Marzi Willis, today from 4 to 8, there will be an art expo held at the Cat Center. That is the Chester Cultural Arts and Technology Center on 4th Street. That's right above the food court. Go check that out. See some of his wonderful work. And at Subaru Park, it's not too late. You can join for Saturday's prostate and cancer walk, colon cancer walk. You can walk, you can ride. Let's just get active. There's opportunity for family fun. There'll be personal trainers leading different groups, health screenings, and more information. And of course, Q&A with the doctor. So you can get some information from a licensed professional and really get some help if it is needed. We talked about the Juneteenth Festival. It's a 2-part festival this year, held at Memorial Park, starting with the Father's Day Parade. It'll begin at 12 noon and go into 6 p.m., featuring the foursome Ds and all sorts of different activities. So come on down, get some food. There's vendors. The pool will be open, tons of activities, and you don't want to miss it. On Sunday, there is part 2 with worship service at various churches, which you can see from Hope Point Ministry to St. Daniel's. And St. Daniel's, I believe that's United Methodist Church, and St. Daniel's Ray of Hope. The Ruth Bennett Community Farms will be offering free produce boxes this month. The second date is June 23rd, so you want to make sure you don't miss that. And if you're wondering what's in the box, there's eggs, kale or collards, onions or garlic, potatoes, radishes or turnips, beets or carrots, apples or strawberries, and more. So you want to get up there to Carla's Way, at the Pavilion basketball court area, and get you some fresh produce on the 23rd. And if you are a senior, there's a special Farmers Nutritious Market program for you, running from June 1st to September 30th. There's some in-person sites as well, but the Chester Senior Center, you can contact them, and as long as you're a resident of Delaware County, 60 years of age and older, within those income restrictions, you can receive fresh produce from the local farmers market. In the Fishing Head Club of Chester, Pennsylvania, Children's First American Delaware County presents the Children's Day free event. And if you know anything about the Fishing Head Club, they throw awesome events, great food, good time. You can learn how to fish or enhance those skills with some great, really, really strong community leaders and amazing men within the community. So check that out. There'll be snacks, contests, prizes, fun, fishing, and more. Immaculata University is offering tech camp and for the Chester Upland School District rising sophomores and seniors, and those dates are listed there. Contact Dr. Sutton for more information. But here's an awesome opportunity to enhance those skills and really set you apart from other high school students, especially when you're looking to enter the college arena and just really grow your skills and your talents. And Making a Change, we will be featuring our Level Up in the Park event. So make sure you reach out to us so that you can register. We'll be at Chester Park in July every Thursday. Food, fun, activities, you know us. So just come join us. And that's all we have for events this week. Make sure you check out our Facebook page and all the other social media avenues so that you can keep up with everything that we have going on. Have an amazing weekend and happy Father's Day to all the dads.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brittany. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Mac family, how is everyone? We are almost at that special time of year, Father's Day. We want to make sure we shout out all of our amazing fathers, our uncles, our homies, our old heads, our mentors, our brothers, all of the men in our community. A lot of times we need to take more time to shout our men out, and we want to highlight all of the amazing things that the guys that we work with are doing in our city. I first want to make sure I acknowledge and shout out all of the men that I work with at Making a Change Group. One, we're led by our CEO, our executive director, our lead big brother, Corey Long. He's out here just creating a vision for us to walk in where we're doing that, and we appreciate him for that. But then we have other men that are working in every single program that we have. We have Richard Bender, who's on, Mr. Sterling Jill Stockman, who is a pillar in our community, who lends a voice to those who don't always feel like they have one. So shout out to him. Skip, Coach Fareed, who is doing the same work with our young people in the community, not only running his stellar football program, but also reaching our young people in school, being that positive male figure that we all need to see and be able to embrace and reach in our community. We got Josh Stockman, who is working and doing some amazing work with our young people in school, and our own Capri Amino Guns, who lends his efforts and his influence and his vision to not just our G-Vine program, but our Team Mac program in Toby Farms, just touching those young people, being a voice, being a place for them to come for solace, for when they need an ear. So we want to give all of our men a shout out, but a special congratulations to our Capri, Mr. Amino Guns. He is being honored this weekend. He is going to be honored for recognized for his work in the community. He's going to be I'm going to give you guys the address right now. He's nominated for the Cornelius Award, and it's going to be happening on Father's Day from 10 to 12. And that's going to be at the Church of the Overcomer in Trainer, PA. We are going to make sure that we post the congratulations as well as the address and the location information for Church of the Overcomers and Trainers so that we can support him. Anytime that we get information or get an opportunity to love on our men in our community, we need to do that and take advantage of that. So everyone who knows Matt, know that we'll be out in force to embrace our family. And we're going to post it on our website so that other people who want to post congratulations to him have that opportunity. So definitely make sure that when you see him, shout him out. Let him know that we appreciate him and we know what he's doing. We know, we see, we literally can see the young people that he's affecting in our community, working with Making a Change Group. You know, he's had kids on, you know, he's had them out to dinner. He's helping planning field trips and getting them exposed. And then again, just being that regular ear that they need on a daily basis in school and in the community. So everybody, let's shout it out for and big up it for Capri Amino Guns. Yay! Woo! All right. But we don't want to stop there. There's other men in the community that are doing great things, amazing things. So Gio is here. He's going to lead the conversation. But we want to make sure we acknowledge as many as people as we can. What I will say is we have 37 more minutes on here, everybody, to all of our MAC family that's out there. If we don't call your name, just attribute it to our head and not our heart. Just know that if we are working with you, if we are collabing with you, if we hear of any good things that you are doing out in the community, we are doing our best to get that out to the world. So again, we're going to acknowledge as many people as we can today. And anybody else, just know that we love you. We appreciate all the good work that you do. Gio, I know you and I talked very, very briefly this morning about just a few people that just popped off your head off the top. Let's hear it. What's going on right now and who's doing things right now that the community needs to be aware of and put our energy behind. We muted.
Good morning.
There you go. Good morning.
How's everybody?
Everybody.
Rich, that's a nice hat you got on, man. Where you get that from?
Thank you, sir.
Man. Looking kind of fresh up here this morning.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to be like you guys.
Looking rather fresh up here today, I must say.
Is that an STP hat? Let me see. Let's see it.
This is a Hensel Gracie or Daniel Gracie Philadelphia hat.
Oh,
this is
nice.
Amazing team of people who work together and train together, and pretty much they're all pretty awesome people. But yeah, I love to support my people who great things and be part of it. So I'm gonna get one of your things soon. You got to hook up a hat for me.
I got you. Don't worry about it. But,
wait, y'all miss C's in the comments talking about Rich with the drip.
Thank you so much.
Like speaking of I mean, if we highlighting people, I would say I know brothers that's out here, people out here really working, people really trying to do the best they can with the limited resources they have, you know what I'm saying, the limited time they have, they giving their best effort to try to change the tide. You got brothers like C's out here. Yeah. He out here working. You see him out here constantly working, constantly pushing and being involved. You got brothers like George Mink. You know, he working with Dr. Christine Motley now, and they doing the COVID outreach, you know what I'm saying, trying to get people informed on that either way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Either you want it or you not.
You die.
He out here giving you the information, you know what I mean, so you can better make a decision. Brothers like Zane Shaw, you know, with NDO, Skills and Drills, he out here teaching our kids and showing them what athletics can do for them, how far they can go with using athletics. There's so many brothers out here. Like you said, Corey is 10 of life. You know what I mean? Them brothers up there, they doing real big things, and they out here in the community and they working.
Yeah. Let's talk some more about C's. I mean, C's is in the comments right now. He's always on. He's always aware. Mm-hmm. C's knows what's going on in the community and he's present. You know, every event we ever have, every meeting that all of us get on. C's is on it already. He's taking in information and he communicates it out. Let's talk a little bit about what he does and what we see him doing, because, people may see folks out in the community and, like you said, doing their very best. They are making some real change, but you may not know that if you just seeing them. C's is working with an organization that is growing and that is making a real difference for being liaisons with young people and families, especially in that trauma arena when things are really at their worst. He is in there communicating and being that bridge between the authorities, sometimes the hospitals, medical facilities, and other community organizations, getting our young people and their families the help that they need. And again, being that ear. You guys know what he does too. What are y'all seeing? What am I missing? I don't want to miss anything.
If I can just shout out one of the things immediately I thought of C's is when we did our peace walk. I would just say as we were doing the peace walk, and this is something I'm seeing in person on the spot, and I was amazed by it. Is I remember C's leading that peace walk. He had that bullhorn. He was really energized. Now it was a pretty lengthy walk. And he's the hype man. He's the one screaming the chants. And I remember at one point you could kind of hear the crowd dying down a little bit. And I said this in the last podcast, but I gotta say it today again. He was like, "Look, guys, this is a high rate area. I need y'all to boost y'all energy up. Like, we need this." And like, just the way he got that crowd going was amazing to me. But I love, like, you could see behind his eyes that he lives and breathes this. And I was like, man, I was energized. I was like, wow, to me, that was amazing. And he kept going and he kept going. And it was right. So for me to see one of our brothers in action like that, not just behind the desk or whatever, but to see him in action like that and have that passion behind it, I was encouraged. Encouraged. I was like, I know I gotta step my game up. Put it that way.
Yeah, and I don't want to go. Oh, go ahead, Gio.
It's like, as with him as with other brothers, like the strength of it is the availability of it. Now I'm saying it's about being present. So like, we can talk all we want, but when these things come up, we have to be present. That's how you see who's doing something. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you. If you come out, you'll see the brother in action. You'll see him up in the street with the bullhorn. If you out in the mix, you'll see Zane out in these parks and whatever, training y'all kids. You know what I'm saying? You'll see these brothers if you out, if you available, that's how we gonna recognize you. That's how we each gonna recognize each other, because we all out there. And we all lending a hand, like whatever hand you can lend. Like, everybody can't
do everything,
be involved full time.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you can't. But
I've seen C's at Chester High. I've seen them at a lot of our meetings. I've seen them, man. It's so funny when it came to C's. I remember Michelle. We have a list of people we're contacting. We're trying to, get them involved and whatnot. And I called numbers, and the response on the text said, "Rich, this is C's." I'm like, that's how far out he's out there. He's at events. He's putting his name and number on lists. And I think once again, just as it comes to a man who's doing these things as a person, I'm like, you recognize and you feed off other people's energy. You're like, I got to do more.
Absolutely.
Be out here. I'm out here.
Yeah, and I want to point out one thing that Gio, what Richard said, and Gio, you both just said the same thing. Like, we're using C's as an example right now. We have a whole list of guys that we want to recognize. What Gio was just saying that. I know. I just want to make this.
There's plenty of brothers out here, man, doing their thing.
What I want to point out though is that if we think we're using C's as an example right now, C's is a season of a lot of guys that Gio just named. Like, these guys are doing things on their own strength. Like, we all partner, and it's all love because we all moving toward the same thing. But you have to think, like, not only are these guys out here, like, at the events, at everywhere, not just events, but in people's houses, on people's phones, but they're also in their office having conversations with people and making those connections, doing that follow-up, making sure that the process moves through, because it's not just what we do outside. These guys are inside the building too. But I was just having this conversation with Richard. That's just geography. We got to do the book work. We got to get those connections. We got to call parents back. We got to stay in contact with people at school. We got to create these relationships with these services and these other organizations that are going to serve our community. And we got to be outside. And for those that are doing both, we're not going to discount, women today. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about for guys that are doing both. It is the same passion. It is the same work. It's just geography. And what we're seeing with, guys who are taking on their shoulders and taking their responsibility to do this without, sometimes without anybody. They're just doing it on their own. They're doing everything. And we have to make sure we give them their credence in that part too. It takes a lot of work to get outside and have a message and have things that follow up. Because what did Jill said last week, we can't just be talking it. We got to have something to back it up, because the minute you start talking to a young person, Richard called them young ones. Every time you talk to a young one, you got to have something to back that up.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent. You got to be on schedule. You got to be on time. You got to have, if your young one needs a meal, you got to know where to get that from. And that takes that work on the back end that nobody sees. You don't see that. The community doesn't see that, until it doesn't happen, until it doesn't show up. That's when nobody want to listen. But we talking about, men that are doing the whole picture. They doing all of it, and sometimes on their own back. So definitely we want to, keep shouting people out. Go ahead, Gio. We know you're not done.
Yeah, not too.
Wait 1 second. I just wanted to say that representation matters, though. I see in the comments, C's was saying that women were the backbone of the fight, and we couldn't do it without women. But that representation of men taking charge and being the lead in being those protectors and providers and professing really how you feel in what you want for the community makes a difference, because women can say it all day long, but the presence of a man and that impact of a man changes the dynamics.
It does. What I think C's is saying is like, it's equal, but not the same.
Right.
Women can be out there too. Women are out there too, but it's equal, but not the same. We need both. We need all of it. Go ahead, Jim.
That's what I was just about to get into when you said that, is that in no way do I discount what the sisters is out here doing.
Absolutely.
That's not what this conversation is about. The sisters is out here doing amazing things. But me personally, in my personal opinion, I feel the only way to develop a successful man correctly is with stand-up men doing it.
Exactly.
I don't believe that women. I mean, it's possible. We're not going to say a lot of us come from single homes. It's going to be easier if men do it. It's going to be a more direct example for a boy to look at, and you see a solid man to emulate. All we got is bad images of what men are supposed to be that they emulate, and that's why it's most important for us as men to come out and show them an example of what a man is supposed to be. How he's supposed to stand there with his woman, for his woman, uplift his woman. He don't have to be in the front. Put her in the front, but he can be there to make sure she cool in the front. So examples we setting by being involved. So I ain't want to think I ain't want the sisters like Sister Barb and all. And
they about to come get us.
I ain't want thinking that I'm discounting their work, because their work is important, because they go to state.
I like how Josh, he'll either call the men kings and the women queens, but I like how he does that.
It was them who raised us up.
Right. I mean, and I want to acknowledge that for me as a man, I noticed the good women in my life, whether it be at home, at work, or just maybe at church or here or there. The best women that I've met always uphold me, and not necessarily tell me what I want to hear, but what I need to hear. They'll keep you afloat. And I just want to I take this time to appreciate that, because that helps me as a man to do my work. So, you know, from the people that I'm around, it's not easy to do this job. I want to acknowledge this in the men too. This is something I wanted to acknowledge for all my guys. I know, you know, our youth, sometimes our young ones see us as superheroes, but don't know what goes on. Sometimes we get beat up emotionally and whatnot as well. You know, maybe our family, someone in our family sick, or, you know, marital issues, or our own kids, and we have to stay positive and motivated. So having this platform for us to acknowledge each other is wonderful. And I think that's great, because that's the refuel we need. I think Josh one time said a lot of us go out there with an empty cup. We don't look like it. We smiling, we super energized, but we recognize that our young ones aren't supposed to see that anyway. We got to show them, like you said, Gio, what does a real man look like? How does he interact with his peers? How does he interact with his queen? And even deeper, like, how does a young man perspire? I mean, you know, not perspire, I'm sorry. Survive out in the professional world. You know, that was hard, because as I talk to a lot of young men, you know, I'm like, what's up with the job? Oh man, I ain't like the way he was talking to me. What did he say? And, you know, we got to like reset a lot of things. We got to reprogram a lot of things. Like, listen, when you at work, you're a working person. You're a professional. You can still be you, and then we guide them along, you know. But I just want to acknowledge what's in saying that someone like Gio. I want to start with Gio for me, if y'all don't mind. I want to start with Gio. Gio's one of those cats that I'm able to talk to. I think he's able to break things down to me. He's a very straightforward guy. And I think that's what youth need. So when he's out there, he's talking to the youth, he ain't just, you know, he's giving them raw information. They might not like it, but I think they respect it. And because of that, he's able to be that middleman for me. When he introduces me to somebody, he's like, yo, I work with this guy. You guys can trust. He's going to give you the same motivation and the same information and the same drive. So, Gio, I want to shout out to you, man. When you bring me someone, I applaud that, man. And that's, as an interventionist, that's what you're doing out there. I think people need to see that. Mm-hmm. You bring them to us as a resource so they can get their resources, so they can build. Same thing with Skip. Skip is usually very busy, and I got to see Skip in his work environment. And he's on the move, but I seen him talking, I seen him interacting, and then what he does afterwards, his own little football team. Like, I know that brother's tired. I know he's tired, and he keeps on, and he keeps on. That's amazing for me. Like, I keep saying, I step my game up. That makes me motivate. What can I do next? When I see Mr. Capri, I like to call him Mr. Capri because of when the kids are around, when the participants are around, the young ones, want to make sure they call him that. But he brought me into his classroom, into his realm, which is Toby Farms. And I got to see him being the middleman. Hey, this is Mr. Rich. This is what he does. But when I seen the interactions, man, people are shaking that man's hand. And I think one of the beautiful things I've seen Capri do is when there was someone getting disciplined, and they're usually in the front of Toby Farms, there's like a little space there, the pavilion, I think you would call it. You can see they're there and they got that mean face. They mad. They got caught doing something wrong. I love how he took that time to stop. What's going on? My name is Mr. Capri. What's yours? What's up? Why are you here for? I like that he took the time to stop, even though this isn't maybe his a person who's in his classroom. It's just someone he's seen. He took the opportunity to stop. What's up? What you do wrong? Why'd you do that for? You know you in school, right? This ain't the time to play. I tell you what, my name is Mr. Capri, right? I'm part of this, and that. Boom, this is where I'm at. You need to come holler at me. I love that he took the time and he stopped, and I got to be part of that. And then once again, I borrowed that from him. He's making me a better man. What can I do when I'm out in the street, when I'm out doing my part to introduce myself, but also to have a learning lesson, right? I love that. Brother Josh, a big part is me and Josh are both case managers, and we often get to share our case, some information on our caseload, what we can talk about and uphold each other. It's really tough because as much as we want to see success in this, we often see a lot of tragedy sometimes on many levels, small or high. You know, we get to see a lot of trauma-informed situations, and that can take a toll. But having someone to decompress and talk to and stay motivated, and let's go ahead and get the success. And here's another thing. How do you view success? What levels of success? So for me, as a case manager now, one interaction with a student or a participant that might lead to laughter, might lead to like them opening up. Maybe it could be crying too. Maybe because if they're crying, they're opening up to me. That's a success for me, because now they're not just, what's up? Now they're opening up to me. Now I can find out the resources we need to get to, or like to have these really strong conversations. And lastly but not least, Corey Long, I want to shout out to him as well for providing the space, but I see his vision. And what's so funny about that is I see him at work. He brought his little one, his little girl, his daughter, and we had like a little drawing competition. Often through young ones, you can see the work their parents put in, from the way they act, how respectful they are. And then she learned my name that first day. I just like, wow, they did a great job. As a father, a great job. She was just telling me, Richard, can you show me how to draw this? And I'm just having these light conversations, and I was blown away. So I honor men who put the work into their family, because you can see it. You can see when people put the work into the young ones. And the same thing with our group. When I go out here, when I see someone with Gio, they represent themselves like they with Gio. They represent themselves well. Same thing with Mr. Capri. They go in the classroom, what's going on? What's your name? And they welcome me in. I love that. And I'm like, the work is serious.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You are. They're certainly right. Gio's got a list of other folks that we want to acknowledge. Go ahead, Gio.
Good brothers, all Rich, that you speaking about. And I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate what you out here doing, brother.
Thank you.
Can't make light of what you out here doing. You out here doing good work, like solid work that we really need out here. So don't take light of what you out here doing and your contribution to what's going on out here. I appreciate you. I want to take the time to highlight the 10 of Life in their organization, Brother Tyrone Ricks. Now, he from the city, but he everywhere. He not just here. He be out in Coatesville rocking. He be in Westchester rocking. He out in the city rocking. He was just doing movie night down in William Penn the other night. Like he a part of a lot of stuff out here, and he don't get the proper funding he's supposed to get. Know what I'm saying? People don't donate to a situation how you think they would, especially for the work that he does. Like the work that he do out here is important. So I want to take the time to highlight him, man, and go look him up on Facebook, man. It's called 10 of Life. Go check out what they doing, man. Look at what he got going on and all the places they at. And shout out to brother Chef Lamont. And get his brother some props too, because this brother's everywhere as well, man. Anytime it's some type of situation anywhere, man, this brother loading up the truck and he there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
He out in the community working. You see him everywhere, and he been out here for a long time doing it. It ain't, lately and with good reason, we're seeing a lot of brothers coming out, and it's great that that's happening. But he's one of the brothers that was doing it when nobody was doing it.
Yeah.
When nobody was out here helping nobody, brother Chef Lamont was out here helping. So
absolutely funny, Gio, you bring him up, because yesterday I called Chef Lamont because he's partnered with Making a Change Group, and we were talking about an initiative that we want to take on, and he made a recommendation to me that I never thought of. It is a new initiative for us, but he has been doing it, like you said, for so long. He's turning me on to stuff that we now can put our strength behind to support him and what he was doing, and it just aligns. Chef Lamont is working with kids. He works with the homeless. He feeds people out of his own pocket. Like he told me yesterday, he's his block captain. He is working to make his space, just the part that he can control. He's putting his focus there every single day. And then he does that, and then it affects all these other places and reaches far for stuff he don't even know he touching. Like it just was and we've known each other for a long time, and you're right. You see somebody in the community, but you don't know what they do until you start working with them, till you start partnering with them, and then it just opens up hundreds of thousands of people that he has affected is all over this entire country. Is crazy good.
Yeah, the most important thing is right. Is acknowledging these brothers, all these brothers that we named. The most important thing is to acknowledge them. But the second most important thing is standing behind them, funding them. Man, this stuff costs money. You think we can just pull up somewhere and just throw something on? Like this money came from nowhere?
That's
like
true.
No, this money is coming from hard-working people, grinding, taking out their pocket, sacrificing from their families. Give to the community. We gotta stand behind brothers like this. We gotta donate money to them. We gotta donate time. When they throwing stuff, we gotta come out and help them.
Yeah, true story.
Like it gets overwhelming. I mean, to be that guy or be that voice that's always trying to change people's heart and change people's mind, and nobody helping you. We don't want them. We don't want brothers out here to get like that and to feel discouraged. We want to keep championing them, keep pushing them. Kev Yes God, man. Shout out to Kev Yes God, man, making all the kids look good. Prime weekend, man. And I know this brother personally, you know what I'm saying? And I know his grind. I know his story. I know how when he was just out with like a little ass type camcorder type thing and starting his grind to see where he at now. These are people and these are men, like I keep saying, that our boys gotta see. Their stories need to be told. It need to be understood that people came from a place, and now where you see them at, it was a long road. It took a lot of work to get there. It just don't happen overnight, and that's what them examples is. But like I said, man, go out and support these brothers. When you see Chef Lamont putting his posts up on Facebook saying he got something going on, man, pull up. Pull up. Why are you not pulling up? When you see Tyrone Ricks and they put the Tent of Life, they got a whole logo. It's like a tent. It say Tent of Life on it. It's real big. When you see post up, pull up. It's not nothing but love at that event.
Absolutely.
And that
good energy at that event.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of good energy.
And that's an important thing you saying, Gio. Like that's why it's important for all organizations, us and everybody else, to collaborate as often as we can. We need to pool our energy and our resources so that everybody's message is getting out there, because everybody that you name, we all talk in the same language. We all want the same thing. We want to heal our community. I'm not going to save. We want to heal it. There's broken parts in everybody's community, but we're concerned about ours. No community is perfect. None. I don't care what it look like. I don't care what it sound like. I don't care what people say on TV. But we're concerned about our community. And if we all speak in the same language, then we need to all be at as many of the same tables that we can be, so that we can not just know what we each, just know. We don't want to just talk about it on flyers, but we need to be like Gio, like we need to be having those planning conversations, because like Gio said, events don't just happen. They don't just happen. Somebody somewhere is moving this thing along so that we can have a table to pull up to. So we can have, if we serving hot dogs, we got the buns. We got that. Somebody has to do that. And when we start having these planning sessions, then I'm talking to the folks that's out here doing it and the ones that think they want to do it. We start having some more collaborative conversations so we can do more together. What I've seen since I've been back home is tons of collaboration on every level. And I'm just encouraging everybody from this seat that we need to do more of that. We need to know more. We need to talk more, and we need to say when we need help. We need to talk about, not just the big picture, but what are we doing in this small arena? Chef Lamont said, I'm just a regular guy. Right.
Yeah. We need more regular guys.
All the guys.
All of them.
Regular guys make a big difference. I don't know if he was on or if he heard me say, or Gio say, Chef Lamont is all over this country on his own, asking people for donations, pulling his own resources and driving to flooded out states. He's driving to New Orleans. He's driving to Alabama in his van with stuff that he's collected from wherever he getting stuff from. So I think we need to take Gio's call and Brittany and Richard's call and mine as a call to action. Like, if you know somebody doing something good, let's have that conversation. Let's each pool our resources and make a bigger impact. It's our responsibility to heal this community. Nobody in Chester wants somebody from outside Chester to come in and do it. Like, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. It's easy to say somebody need to be in here doing stuff for us, but when people get in here and they start placing their parameters on our community, then we want a buck. Don't nobody like that. Then if we don't like it, we need to be the ones taking responsibility for it and to, be open to the conversation with someone else. Let's break down walls of offense. Let's not be offended by each other anymore. Instead of being offended and stop talking, let's say, hey, I didn't really understand how that came out. Did you mean that? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm trying to say over here. Can we have this conversation again? And if it needs to be behind closed doors, let's do it. Let's hands up. Let's just hands up and be like, let's have these conversations. Let's break down as many barriers as we can and cross as many thresholds as we can together so we can be as effective as we can and affect positively as many people as we can. Go ahead, Gio. I know you got your list. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing, though.
I'm good with the conversation. We, as more brothers come up and pop in my mind, we'll talk about them. Let me ask you something. We got Juneteenth. We got the Juneteenth. That's this week, right?
Yep.
The Juneteenth this week. All right. So, can somebody explain to me what the whole thing of Juneteenth is? Like, what?
Sure.
Why is this a thing? Not to say that I don't know, but I want somebody to explain it.
Right. Well, I'll start. I'm not the end all, and I'll say it as plainly or simply. So when the Civil War ended, the Civil War, the premise of the Civil War was that some states were for slavery and wanted to keep it in place because it provided that free workforce. People who own slaves use them for physical labor. So everybody worked for free. And that allowed those business owners at the time to reap more benefits that made more money. So when the issue of abolishing slavery came about, there were some states that wanted it and some states that didn't. And that's what created the Civil War. When the Civil War ended and that proclamation of emancipation was written and became law, there was no way to communicate the way we communicate now. You say something in Alabama right now, we know it right this moment. That wasn't the case. So the message was not communicated to every single state. So every slave was not freed at that point. There was still, in Texas, there was still a whole state of people who were still working as slaves, although in law for the United States, it was a thing. It wasn't a thing there. So until that message happened on June 18th,
right?
So Juneteenth was called the Freedom Day, when every Black person of African descent became free by law. So that's the significance of Juneteenth. So the African American community celebrates that holiday as our Freedom Day.
Okay. So that now overtakes the original day that when they said slaves was free. This one now supersedes that.
Supersedes it, because we really? For real we free? Nah, because my brother that's in Texas on those plantations are still working every day and living under the same oppression that the law was supposed to eradicate. That does not eliminate the rest of the story, where it wasn't like we were free and equal, free and employed. We were free and unemployed. So now you have to make choices after the proclamation.
I know about them choices. I said, I know about them choices.
Absolutely. So now I'm working for free. You providing whatever level of housing and blah, 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 whatever my quality of life is being provided for you. Now I'm free. But what are my choices? Because now there's still a job that needs to be done. And here's now an employer that says, you're not going to work for free. You're not going to be my slave, but you have to work at this level. And this is what I'm offering. And because you don't have any other choices, this is what you do. So this is what you have to take, or these are your limited resources as a result. So yes, when that's a whole nother conversation, and we can spend a whole nother 15 years on that one. But that's the premise of Juneteenth. There are, of course, other details, but that word was transmitted by the military. Was like, oh, wait, hold on. Y'all not doing, oh, no, this is over. So the message was communicated to African slaves saying, no, this is, you don't need to do this anymore. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So that's it.
Go ahead, Michelle. I love the way you did. Absolutely. Listen, I love when I get to see something passionate in one of my fellow employees, or just that blew me away right there. She did something that Capri does. Capri every once in a while break out in a history lesson. I'm like, really? I did not know that, and I just wanted to applaud. I love that.
It's a whole real thing. So and that's why you may see now some of the especially in social media, one of the backlash that some companies are experiencing right now is because African American people from the African diaspora are resisting the commercialization of Juneteenth, because I'm sure, Gio, I know you knew some of it. You probably was just trying to get me to put it out there. But there are so many people who think it's just a holiday that we can just buy stuff. No, ma'am. No, sir. We all need to be educated about what our history is, and not allow anyone in our society to eliminate that portion of it. There was a whole mix-up, a whole failure to share information that further limited a whole race of people that were already not being treated fairly. And we see the ramifications of that now. We're not going to eliminate that. So when we talk about the commercialization of it, and even, events and festivals and things like that don't represent or have some real representation of what the culture is, then we cannot allow that. I feel like we have a responsibility to our young ones, to ourselves, to our ancestors, for the work that was still getting done, that we need to acknowledge where we are in this. And we can celebrate. I'm not saying celebrate. Everybody celebrate, have a good time, but know why we're celebrating this, and put that energy, bring that energy to the celebration. We're not going to just celebrate and not acknowledge why we're doing this, and why it's so significant that it's been acknowledged as a national holiday within this country.
I think that's so important what you just said, and that's one thing about learning history. Look at what we're doing now. I think one of the things you said is they need a representation. Like, that's why when we're out here and they see when these young kids see somebody from Chester, like Gio, like a Capri, like a Josh, and they recognize them and they're like, wow, I could be doing that. Yeah, because you know what? We're trying to reset this message, education being important. Know what it's like to be a real man. What does it look like? Not this matrix effect. Like, we're out there breaking those and sharing that education, and breaking those false images. Like, we're out there in this work. But I think, like you said, it's really, really important is that we have to protect positivity. First of all, positivity, it draws people. I'm not going to say everybody who comes in here is going to be, but like you said, if there's somebody who comes in here and they're in here to make money off of something, then you got to worry about that. Like, you're not here for the real fight, the real cause. So we have to acknowledge so many things. I think that history lesson alone was so vital. I'm connecting that to what we do today. And I'm like, wow. And that's also a reason why learning our history, our culture is so vastly important. I love that Gio asked.
Being responsible with our ability to communicate, defending our ability to communicate and communicate effectively. We need to know what we're talking about. Yeah. Everybody needs to have access. Go ahead, Gio.
If you don't learn about the past and how things were and how circumstances played in a part, you'll never understand who you are today.
Right.
It's like that specifically with individuals' lives. If you don't look at your own life and the history of your life, the choices that was made in your life to see where you at today, you'll never understand who you are today. You know what I'm saying? So studying this is vitally important, especially for the individual looking back into yourself, because we all had those points when we made choices where we should have made other choices.
Absolutely.
The only way to understand why you made those choices is to look back. I mean, so you won't make them again. It's important to know these things. I'm glad that I did ask the question that you went ahead and so eloquently broke that down for us.
Absolutely.
So I'm thinking everybody should come out this week to the Juneteenth celebrations and get some more energy like she just gave.
I think we should go out and celebrate in an educated way. I think we need to.
We got hot dogs and stuff too. So we not just talk to you. It's hot dogs.
Yeah, we need to be educated about why we're celebrating. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Chef Lamont just noted in the comments that sharecropping was the direct result of the elimination of slavery. So, when you're looking at organizations like ours, like 10 of Life, like, when you see organized like the Cat Center, when you see opportunities to get connected to these organizations, that's where you want to find this information. This is where you're going to get these resources. When we talk about home ownership, it's not because, or land ownership, it's not because it's not a gimmick. We want our people in our community to own their land because there was a time when we did not own it. And somebody was able to, when we talk about sharecropping, I'm not going to use the last few minutes on it because I don't want to get off the topic of our men, but there is a tie-in. When we had the ability, or when we were allowed to not be slaves, the person who owns the land, the father that owned that land, because there wasn't no women doing it, who owned the land, then got to decide how those then slaves, now free Black people, were going to operate in the community. The reason why we want our men to get behind these families and bring these families and pull our young men and our young women, of course, out of where they are now and to see them to look bigger, is because we want those men to now represent our community. So now you will decide how your family moves in your community. You decide who owns businesses. You decide how people get paid. You decide how people live and how they eat and how they go to school and how they go to the doctor. That's your decision when we own our community. And I'm using home ownership as an example, but I'm talking about owning the whole thing, being the decision makers in our community. That's what our men do. That's what men help women do. That's what women help our men do. We got a partner. Women have to have partners in this. That's how we defend our communities. That's how we defend our school and our doctors and how our families eat. That's who decides if we have fresh food in our community, our men. That's who does that. And that's why it's important for us to not get off track and just go back to our list and just shout at our men and stand up and do all that, because what you do, men, decides on how I eat. You decide who my children see from the doctor. You decide who teaches my kids. You decide what doors I get to unlock as a woman who cares about my community. So we're not going to discount. We're not just going to make it like we want you to come out and be out so we can do something fun. I need you to be out and grow up and be up and stand up so I can live.
Well said. I think really quick, I just want to give one shout out to one gentleman I forgot to, and then follow up. I want to piggyback off Michelle really quick. Mr. Popley. I've worked with Mr. Popley way back when I started in Main Street School. And I seen him and I said, that man still looks so healthy and so slim. But if you see Mr. Popley, he is all over the place. And I stopped him one day and I said, Mr. Popley, I see why you stay looking so young. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, man, 1 minute I look out the window, you out there with the kids. Over here, you with the, talking to the teachers. Then you back over here. And he says, I got to be everywhere. He says, I have to be everywhere to make sure all the kids are safe. And I know for the kids, any young ones looking, If you see Mr. Popley, he is stern or whatnot, but listen what he said. He said, I got to make sure my babies are safe. And I was blown away by that. That man's everywhere. And thank you for letting us, T Mac and G Vine, into Toby Farms, into that atmosphere and just share our resources. But going back to something you said, Michelle, and tying that in with the men. If you like what you hear, if any viewers listening today, and you feel what we're talking about, you say, I feel that I want to be part of that. Just understand there's a responsibility to keep going and be consistent, because a lot of the young ones who do see that positivity in that 5-second window, every time they see us here or there, or even the logos that represent our companies, they need to always consistently see us in that light. Because some people, remember, they only see us for 5-second window. Oh, I like when I see that person. So the responsibility is always to maintain that, because the opposite happens the moment we break that character. Because the young ones see that, they're flooded by that. They're flooded by the wrong image of a man and the wrong image of a woman. They're flooded by a lot of the stuff. Social media alone floods us with those things. But just being outside, when they see what a man is, when they see what a woman is, it attracts strength, positivity, attracts people. But just know that it's work. It is work. It is a consistent upgrade. And if I can say anything, as human beings, we fumble every once in a while. Learn to forgive yourself and learn to forgive others. But consistency is going to be a big thing in regards to the youth that we serve. Just know that it's a lot of work. So being positive, having smiles, sometimes there are some frustration bumps in the road. That's okay. Because for those who accomplish that and become stronger, you just get stronger. You just get built for this work. So yeah, when we out there and we putting on our G-Vine or our Team Mac logos and our shirts, anywhere you represent, that's your armor. People are seeing like, oh, that's their military coming by. And when they see a group of men and women from the same area, just like when we had that peace walk that started small, got long, they want to be part of that. And that's the beauty of what we're out doing. So shout out to all the men, especially the women. But I know we staying on some of the fellas right now. I just want to give a shout out to you guys. If you're out there and you feel like maybe you a little bit tired of this, you out there spending a little bit of your own money, you making your own things, you out there and you feel like it. Listen, you're being seen. You are being seen. And organizing like this, along with other brothers and sisters, only make you stronger. That military becomes that one man to many of an army. So let's just keep doing it. It is hard work. It's not easy, fellas, and young men and women. It's not easy, but we out here and we're gonna continue to do this work, and we're gonna continue to grow and only get strong.
Gio, what we miss?
Huh?
What we miss?
I don't know. We missed a lot of people. I mean,
run them off real quick. Let's take this last minute. Run them off.
I mean, to sum it up, let's sum it up like this. For we know that it's a lot of brothers out here doing a lot of things. And I want to highlight the fact that brothers are taking a more active role,
absolutely,
in our community,
absolutely,
a more active role in trying to bring our kids up right, bring these boys up right, bring these young girls up right. Absolutely. And let's just acknowledge all of them as a group. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. We acknowledge the fact that brothers is really out here trying. And I also, by highlighting these brothers, I also want to take a minute, this last minute, to highlight the sisters. Because without them, these road warriors that we got out here who've been out here for so long, some of us grew up seeing these sisters out here working. They was working as we was growing. We seen them out here doing their thing. We got to acknowledge the fact that they held it down long enough for us to grow into this role. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I want to acknowledge them sisters for doing all that they do and holding the ship as well as they could for us men to come of age and to come into a space where we ready to come out here and do what need to be done. So like, I want to acknowledge all the brothers that's out here working, but I also want to acknowledge them sisters. Know what I'm saying? They know who they are. We know who they are. There's so many of them to name,
But I just want to take the time to acknowledge all of them for what they did and for what they continue to do, helping us, like, just try to right the ship. You know, it take all of us to do it. So without highlighting them, it wouldn't even be complete just to highlight the brothers. You know what I'm saying? I would have to take the time to highlight them too.
Absolutely.
So, like with that, you know, that's all I got this morning for the community report, man. It's your main man, Gio, man. I'll be around. I'll see
All right, see y'all later. Bye, fam.
Bye.